Hello and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, sports fans, basketball diehards, and those of you who tune in for raw human emotion. Thank you for joining us tonight for an exclusive, in-depth look at the heartfelt tribute penned by Miami Heat forward Kevin Love, honoring his late father, former NBA player Stan Love. In a stirring social media post following Kevin's absence from Saturday's playoff game against the Cleveland Cavaliers for personal reasons, the 36-year-old veteran died the silence of the hardwood and recorded words that echo a lifetime of love, sacrifice, conflict, and ultimately reconciliation. Buckle up as we journey from the opening tip-off of this emotional saga to the final buzzer and beyond, exploring every twist, every memory, and every tear in this touching story that intersects the worlds of professional sports, family bonds, and the unbreakable legacy of a father and son. Tonight's story begins not on the parquet floors of the Smoothie King Center, but on social media, where on Sunday, April 27th, Kevin Love shared a lengthy and deeply personal message. The NBA community was already abuzz. Kevin had been conspicuously absent from the Heat's critical playoff matchup, an elimination game that would determine whether his team's season would continue or end in heartbreak. When the did not play designation flashed on the box score, fans of both Miami and Cleveland wondered, why is Kevin Love missing such a pivotal game? The answer, when it arrived, was a punch to the gut for anyone who's ever lost someone. Dear. On Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, Kevin's words reverberated with raw honesty. Dad, you fought for a long time. The hardest stretch being these past 6 months. The most painful to witness being these last few weeks. And even at the end, as you continued to deteriorate, I still saw you as a giant. My protector, my first hero. Within minutes, the post racked up tens of thousands of likes, shares, and comments, fans offering prayers, tributes from fellow players, and solidarity from those who understand that some battles extend far beyond the scoreboard. But to truly appreciate the depth of Kevin's tribute, we must step back in time to a man whose own journey through the NBA helped shape the path his son would one day follow. Stan Love was more than just a role player for the Baltimore Bullets and the Los Angeles Lakers. He was a force of character, a mentor to teammates, and a father who instilled values that Kevin would carry onto the court and into his very soul. Drafted 9th overall in 1971 by the then Baltimore Bullets, now the Washington Wizards, Stan logged 226 games over 4 seasons, averaging 6.8 points and 4.0 rebounds per contest. Yet statistical lines only scratch the surface. Teammates remember a player who always arrived early, who stayed late after practice to perfect his free throw, and who never missed a chance to encourage a rookie or offer strategic guidance in a huddle. According to league archives and interviews with former coaches, Stan's approach to the game reflected a work ethic forged in the post-war Midwest. Born in Omaha, Nebraska, raised in a single-parent household, and determined to carve out a path through sheer dedication. He was the kind of player who would watch film for hours, not for show, but to dissect opponents' tendencies. He carried notebooks full of scrawled X's and O's, always striving to be the teammate who could tip the balance in the Lakers' favor. His career might not have reached Hall of Fame heights, but his influence on those around him, including a young Kevin who idolized his father's grit, was immeasurable. Fast forward to 2025, and Kevin Love had become one of the NBA's most respected veterans, a 2-time All-Star, Olympic gold medalist, and an advocate for mental health awareness, whose own battles with anxiety and depression inspired teammates, countless fans. But the Love family's private struggle took center stage in the spring of 2025 as doctors diagnosed Stan with a condition that would test every fiber of his resilience. Over 6 grueling months, the former forward weathered surgery, chemotherapy, physical therapy, and the slow heartbreak of watching his body betray him. Throughout his ordeal, Stan's refrain remained the same: gratitude for the loving family that surrounded him, and a single wish to spend his final days at home with his wife Chris, Kevin's mother, and the rest of the family by his side. It was in that same tribute post that Kevin shared one of Stan's last thoughts. "You've loved me, Dad, more than I ever knew possible, and I hope I've shown you some version of that love in return." Those words stand as a testament to a father's lasting impact and a son's unshakable devotion. They reveal a bond tested by career highs and personal lows, by generational differences and moments of bitterness, yet ultimately defined by love that transcends imperfection. Kevin's tribute did not shy away from the complexity of their relationship. In unflinching detail, he acknowledged the times when they clashed, teenage arguments over life choices, the strained silence that follows a heated disagreement, and the distance that sometimes emerges between men who both carry fierce pride. I mourn the times I felt angry and isolated. My heart weighs heavy knowing we lost that time and can't get it back, Kevin wrote. Yet in that admission of regret, he discovered the seeds of forgiveness. Our division led to me finding myself. I was running from something, but that time away provided the wisdom of forgiveness and reconciliation, and an unwavering sense that he loved me through it all. In every moment, that passage struck a chord with fans far beyond the realm of basketball. Across social media, people shared their own stories of fractured relationships, of late-night texts to estranged family members, of vows to heal old wounds before it became too late. Mental health advocates praised Kevin's vulnerability, highlighting how his confession mirrored broader movements encouraging emotional honesty among men, particularly in sports, where stoicism often overshadows sentiment. In the final lines of his tribute, Kevin circled back to the greatest lesson his father ever taught him, that healing is possible in the soul, even in the face of imminent death. The greatest gift you gave me, Dad, was teaching me that healing happens in your soul and that healing is there for the taking, even in the face of imminent death. With that, Kevin extended the story beyond their personal loss, offering hope to anyone grappling with grief, anger, or regret. He concluded, like all of us, my dad was imperfect, but despite his flaws and my own, we are a successful story of father and son, a never-ending bond, rooted in love that will forever remain eternal. Dad, I'm so proud to be your son. My only hope is that you're proud of me. It was all I ever wanted. Thank you for everything. As the NBA community mourned Stan Love's passing, the ripple effects reached every corner of the league. Miami Heat teammates paid tribute on the court. Head coach Eric Spoelstra dedicated the following game to Stan's memory, and the Cavaliers, sporting black armbands, held a moment of silence before the tip-off. Even across rival locker rooms, players shared condolences, recognizing that behind every jersey number lies a family story, a lineage of sacrifice and support, often hidden from the bright glare of stadium lights. Off the court, Stan's legacy will live on through scholarships established in his name at his alma mater, the University of Oregon, where his collegiate career first blossomed. Friends and former teammates have launched a foundation to support families navigating end-of-life care for loved ones, a cause that Stan championed quietly while yet alive, urging for greater resources and compassion in the medical community. Meanwhile, Kevin, carrying the weight of his father's absence, now faces the daunting task of leading the Heat in an elimination game the very next day. Will he return to the floor Monday, April 28th against the Cavaliers in Cleveland? Sources close to the team suggest that Kevin, while deeply grieving, is determined to honor his father's warrior spirit by showing up for his teammates. No other question looms. Can he channel his sorrow into focus? Can he transform heartbreak into the fire that propelled him to countless comebacks throughout his storied career? If recent playoff history is any guide, Kevin is no stranger to delivering his best when everything is on the line. But even as fans prepare for tip-off, the bigger story remains clear. This is not just a playoff moment, it is a human moment. A universal reminder that behind every game lies a story of family, and behind every player stands someone who taught them to reach for greatness. Stan Love, the 6'8" giant whose presence was felt far beyond the stat sheets, leaves behind more than memories. He leaves a blueprint for living with courage, for forgiving as fiercely as one loves, and for understanding that true victory is measured not in rings, but in relationships. So tonight, as we look forward to the Heat's next matchup, let us also take a moment to celebrate a life well lived and to honor a bond that transcends the final buzzer. To Stan Love, Father, husband, player, and hero, we say thank you. And to Kevin Love, we say, may your father's legacy guide you on and off the court, reminding you of the power of love, forgiveness, and the healing that lies within us all. And to you at home, know that sometimes the most sensational story of all is not the one told in a highlight reel, but the one whispered in a loving tribute, a story of loss, redemption, and the eternal embrace of a father's love. Thank you for joining us for this special report. Until next time, keep your hearts open, cherish the moments you have with loved ones, and remember that real strength